Hello everybody, this is Axter speaking from the Players Council, and today we are going to take it from a different perspective because I would say that there has been enough talk. So today we are going to build a deck from scratch. I'm going to slightly comment on that, and then we will head off to the main hall, hopefully play a game or two depending on how long those will take, and I will try to comment on my play during the game so that everybody can understand what my decisions are based upon. Alright, so let's select something that we can play. We are going to be playing Movie Block, which is the most probable format besides Fellowship Block that you can create a table and successfully play a game in. And we are going to select something unconventional. So how about we take a look at, for example, the Wraiths. So there are a couple of ways how you can play the Wraiths. Firstly, you can pair them up with Gandalf, which gives you potential to then be able to play some events that Gandalf can work with. Or you can pair them up with Frodo and try to slowly get rid of threats which the Wraiths add in order to be played. Or you can just play them with Aragorn. So there are a couple of ways. We are going to see what looks the best, and then we will see what we pair it up with as a shadow. So what you need to solve first when you are building your free peoples is what your starting fellowship is going to look like. So here we have a couple of options. Either it can be the boring leader of men and saved from the fire paired up with the Oathbreaker, which is quite vulnerable early, but then later on it pays off. But we are going to stick to purely the Gondor culture just to make it more interesting. So we want to play Isildur because his disadvantage by being assigned to a skirmish can actually be an advantage in this deck, since exerting 3 companions means boosting up strength of our companions, which are Wraiths, because they are enduring, and that means that for each exert on them they are going to be +2 strength. Alright, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 companions. Let's add Aragorn because we need to remove threats somehow. And what else could we put there? So some things on our Wraiths. There are a couple cards that we can use that are quite essential in this kind of deck. Swept Away, which prevents them from getting killed easily. Then Aragorn is definitely going to like to see his bow. And what else do we need? Not much actually. So to have some sort of potential of getting rid of opponents' ships, Grond, heights, etc., we want to play Derufin. So at least 3 copies of him. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 companions. We are good. We will not play some because we try to play it a little bit more like we are the stronger guys and our opponents will need to react to our free peoples. So what else can we put in our deck? It's all Gondor, so a nice disruption of our opponent's cards is going to be Drawing His Eye. So if you have 9 Gondor companions in deck, this can be a really strong thing to play. Then our Wraiths can be even bigger and it can bring us even more healing potential. Not healing potential, strength potential in our deck if we play this thing right here. So +3 and defender until the regroup phase, which is super useful because that makes the Wraith +5 until regroup phase essentially. Let's play that 4 times. Let's make some fun out of it. Alright, some healing because this deck doesn't have any healing options or healing potential. So what else do we need? We can put there actually some cards that wound minions or get rid of them somehow. Now this is a nice combination because you can discard 3 cards from hand by using the Oathbreaker's ability. Now he doesn't necessarily need to be skirmishing a minion bearing a possession because in Lothar it works this way. If there is a condition to do something, in this case discard 3 cards from hand to do something, then after the word to, so to do something doesn't really matter as long as you have met the condition to use it in the first place. So we use that, we lose the initiative and kill the exhausted minion in the ideal case scenario. What else can we play in order to be a little bit safer? Not much here in the Gondor culture. So let's put their extra safety against some sort of swarm, so it could be Code of Mail. And then we can of course play something to our Aragorn. So that could be, for example, where's that sword? I must be blind. Yes, this one right here, because discarding 3 cards from hand, even though we already have Oathbreaker, can be a nice deal. Now, just to double check, do we have a starting fellowship that we are comfortable with? 2 Oathbreakers. That's not too strong, so we need something a little bit stronger, a little bit safer. How do we do that? So perhaps we can change it a little bit. We can actually discard 1 Oathbreaker, because we are going to start with 1. Then we need some nice companion in our deck that costs just 2. Is there any like that? Faramir, not good enough. No, you know what? Let's actually keep it simple. We are going to put there Greenleaf, because it is a wounding deck. No. This is our first time building a deck out of scratch, so I'm not going to mix in any other culture and see if we can play some nice games even with this simple build. Alright, let's not worry about it too much. Now some shadow to pair it up with. What can we actually put there? So this deck is a sort of a all-in 3 people strategy, so that means that we want to focus on our swept away, keep the wraiths exhausted, and if we run into shadow that doesn't usually have a super easy way to get rid of our conditions, that could be for example besiegers, those are our greatest enemy right here, then generally we can beat Hillman with this, we can beat Corsairs probably, we can beat a whole bunch of stuff actually. So that means that our shadow could be something that is that has the potential to kill our opponent, and also it doesn't mind discarding its cards by Oathbreaker and the sword, so that our 3 peoples can survive. So what can we actually put there? Let's select, for example, Hillmen are not a good pair because they need you to go first. Mordor is quite easy to play. Well, that could actually be it. Let's play some Mordor deck. And the reason why I selected this is that firstly, the minions are very expensive, so if we play against Swarm, our opponent will not be easily able to, let's phrase it differently. Our opponent will try to get our hand stuck, and we can react to that by playing or using the ability of the Oathbreaker. Let's put there 1 Shagrat. Essentials are Itil Stones. Now we need 2 Grunts. We need Hate as our card in the deck. And let's see if we can put there Grima with Saruman's Power. This one is good. As I said, the commentary to our shadow is going to be just slight. So we have 1 more card that we can put there, and I know just about the card that's good. That's this one, because it is a good synergy with our roaming shadow. Let's remove the Shagrat. Didn't like him anyway. Now we need sights, and that's going to be it. Alright, so different to Gondor companions. Sight 2, we need Twilight. Hopefully our opponent is not going to use it. Some strength. Steward's Tomb. Now this is funny. If I'm not wrong, then if you move across this site with your exhausted wraiths and swept away is on board, then they do not get killed even if they are exhausted. So it might also be as a good way of testing the server whether that works or not. Now this we can play, for example, this adds strength to the Mordor minions, and the last is Dagger Lot. Alright, so our first deck. Now we go to the main hall, we refresh, and we join Lourdes 85's table. Let's see how it goes. We bid 0 because we have a trash ring bearer in terms of resistance, and oh, we get to go first. In movie, normally, unless you have an all-in shadow strategy, you usually want to go first, because your opponent might be playing Hillmen or Besiegers, or some other deck that likes to control sites, and as a sort of prevents against his strategy, you can already have some upper hand by starting. Alright, this is horrible, we have no free people's cards, and we go first. On the other hand, if he plays Gandalf and plays Saved from the Fire, there will be a lot of Twilight, but still, we will draw something else. Now this is better already, so we can play this guy, we can play the sword, and we want to keep initiative, because side 2 usually punishes having initiative very hard. So let's see what our opponent plays, and here we are going to stop for a while and basically think about what we could do and how we are going to react to our opponent. So we assign this Easterling, and we already use the ability of our Oathbreaker and discard 1, 2, 3 cards. There's only one King of the Dead in the deck. So that's why I didn't want to discard him particularly. Now we lose the second skirmish, and we are able to move again. Let's test how good this deck is. Alright, this is a little bit annoying, but not a big deal. Our wraiths are 8 strength. Oh, and our opponent needs yes, for a red wrath. Alright, no problem, not at all. We are going to heal up on this sanctuary anyway. He could have actually exerted at least once, so that's going to cost him vitality on the next side. Good for us. Alright, we need to spot a Gondor Wraith and add threats, so that's possible. And now let's see what happens in his fellowship phase. Alright. Nice, lots of Twilight. Now we pass, because we want to have Twilight for Sauron. This doesn't do anything. And now... okay, so he stops. Good for us. 3 heals to Isildur. Now there is always the thing about these wraiths. Of course you want them to be exhausted, but you also want them to have some vitality in case you cannot actually defeat the opponent's minions. Now we play this, and our first drawing his eye. So let's see what we reveal. And we can actually discard Easterling Captain. Wonderful. Now we are going to need this. We need to add a threat. Alright, no problem. Easterling Captain, what a force to be reckoned with. Nice. Now what we can do is we can actually already use our events, which are super good. So we do not want to use this ability, but we want to use this. And you see, we are already bigger than the Easterlings, which is very good for us. Now, how about this? Alright, very interesting game. Now, we should be able to defeat the opponent's fighters in skirmish. Alright, sounds good. Now we win here. And what we want to do is we want to kill him and put this one here. Nice. Now what this deck is going to play as side 5 is the one discard your hand or add 2 burdens. So we can discard our hand since we are only holding 2 cards. We add a threat so that our wraiths are truly immortal still. Now we discarded his captain, and the way his deck works is that he usually isn't able to draw essential cards when he needs them, so that's going to be quite funny. Now we move to skirmish, and remember, he cannot do anything to our wraiths. The only thing that could happen is overwhelm, but that's not going to happen because we have lots of strength. Oh, I see. Okay, so that's funny actually, because I made a mistake that you need your in order to make swept away work, you need to have initiative. So it's funny, but never mind. Let's not worry about it. Let's continue on. Okay. His deck is getting set up, and we can actually probably put this on board. Oh, let's wait. No hush. So let's discard Narya, because Gandalf decks usually run Roll of Thunder anyway, and they would discard it for free. So he is actually decided to stop there. Alright, Aragorn finally with his bow, and we want to again discard something from his hand. And the thing we want to discard is going to be Easterling Army. He doesn't need that. Let's make Aragorn even stronger. Alright, at a threat, now we have initiative, so we are super safe. Nice. We don't need to remove that one Twilight. He doesn't have any minions. Let's move again. Again, we want to add a threat. Nice, and we won. See, guys? So just knowing the opponent's strategy, even though we made some mistakes, is going to win us the game. Let's put there GG. And that is it. I would say that's a nice showcase of how a simple strategy paired up with a reasonably good shadow or reasonably good free peoples, depends on what you are oriented on at that point, can work pretty well. We didn't even see any Terufin, any Might of Numenor, so that might have come in handy in other situations, against different shadows perhaps. Our opponent didn't play particularly bad, it's just that he didn't move for no clear reason, in my opinion, and that's what cost him the game, because we discarded some of his essential minions, and then he wasn't able to keep up with us. Even if he played Radagast, we would play lots of Mordor minions with big strength. He would just find that situation to be unbearable, probably, and he would get defeated in the long run anyway. So feel free to copy this deck. I hope this video was useful. I would like to do more of these showcase gameplays, and as always, play this wonderful game and see you out there on Gemp as Axter. Bye bye.